أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم ففهمنا سليمان وكلنا آتينا حكما وعلما رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم سبحانك اللهم وحنانيك ألم لا تنسني ولا تنسني الحمد لله أفضل الحمد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back after the break. I just frightened you a little bit there. You thought, hold on a second here, what's going on? Have we gone already on to Thursday? We only disappeared for 2 minutes to get a cup of coffee and it's already Thursday. No, that was just to make sure that everything's in order. So welcome back for the second session of 2 of questions and answers on Iqra TV, here live from a warm and sunny Bradford. Top of Manchester Road. We've got Naeem by outside with his jet hose, hosing things away. You know summer is here when people get their jet hoses out, don't they? Then you know it's summer. When you don't see no jet hose, you think, nah, it's not summer yet. Until somebody in the street gets a jet hose out and starts jet hosing the ground down. That's exactly what we saw as I came in. And you get that nice, you know that smell with hot ground and then water goes on it? You get that kind of nice smell coming from it. Anyway, enough about smells and water. That's not what that's not what you're tuning in for, rather. To get your questions answered, the number to call is 01274 214 299. That is 01274 214299. Before the break, we had young Abdullah calling in nice and early, got his questions, this time all focused around Tajweed. I like Abdullah's phone calls because you know what he does? He inspires the rest of us. And not only that, he gives us something to focus on straight away. But anyway, enough about Abdullah for now. We've got a caller who's calling in on 01274 214 299. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear caller.
Wa alaikum assalam, Sheikh. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, brother. Yourself keeping well?
Very well indeed, mashallah. Your brother Javed from North Wales.
Yes, how is it in Wales? Is the sun out?
Beautiful.
Oh, is it? Mashallah.
Very nice indeed. Very nice.
I thought I could wind you up by saying we've got beautiful weather here in Yorkshire, but khair, it doesn't matter. Let's all enjoy the weather together.
Inshallah.
There's plenty of sunshine to share, isn't there?
It's a beautiful day.
Alhamdulillah.
It's a beautiful evening, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep it nice and warm, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also share the sunshine throughout the whole world. And
Alhamdulillah.
may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant water in every part of the world which is dried up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Jazakallah khair for that, my brother. How are you?
I'm all right, mashallah. My confusion is always has been every year. Then when we do Qurbani, the sacrificing of a goat, lamb, buffalo, whatever what is allowed and whatever you can afford. We live in a part of the world that the meat is not shortage. And I see so many of our brothers and sisters, they say 1/3 is for yourself, 1/3 is for the family, 1/3 is for the poor people. You see, we all get a grant, we all get social benefit, we all get everything in this country, right? So therefore, if one wants to define a poor person, my heart and my soul tells me a poor person is a person who is fasting literally every day throughout its whole life. Like, for argument's sake, in Yemen, people are starving. In India, in Pakistan, as you know, we've had a very bad floods in Bangladesh. To me, they are the people who are truly need Qurbani meat. And why is it that we are so, I'm sorry to say this to the viewers as well as my own self, why are we so selfish that we don't think of what is a definition of poverty? What is a definition of a person who has not eaten for days and months? So therefore, my dear Sheikh Mufti Amjad, I beg you to tell our brothers and sisters, the viewers, what is the true meaning of giving Qurbani? Qurbani, at the time of our beautiful Prophet Ibrahim Islam, was different, right? So please, I'm going to stop talking.
Yep. Jazakumullah khair.
Ask you to define what is a true meaning of Qurbani. Jazakallah khair.
Barakallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So good. I'm glad we're getting these pertinent questions around Qurbani, because it brings to the attention, first of all, the concept of Qurbani. And I know I spoke to Mona Asad earlier, and there will be discussions about Qurbani. We'll be having special shows with my partner in good deeds. Normally we say partner in crime, but my partner in good deeds, Maulana Imran, will be traveling from all the way from Bolton, about 45 minutes, 30 minutes drive, whatever it is. So he will be joining me. I think these are going to be on Wednesdays from next week and Sunday from this week, I think from 7 till 10 p.m. So please do join us for Qurbani related questions, and also what Al Khair Foundation will be doing with regards to Qurbani throughout the globe. Some of the places which our respected brother mentioned, Yemen, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, etc. So let me try to unpack the whole concept of Qurbani. The first thing is, if you look at the word Qurbani, it's a word now obviously very synonymous within the Urdu type of languages and those languages which are based on Urdu. Qurbani means, but if you take the E part off, then it means Qurban. And if you take the Noon off, then it's Qurb. So that's where the word actually comes from, Qurb. Qurb in Arabic means to draw close. Okay, Qurb, Qareeb. So even in the Urdu language we use it, to come close to something. So what are we hoping to get close to? Who are we hoping to get close to? Well, the concept of Qurbani is to draw close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's his whole purpose. So primarily, secondary, these are the matters. Primarily, your purpose is to draw close to Allah. How has he taught us to draw close to Allah, especially in these, on the day of Nahr, as it's referred to, the day of sacrifice, the day of slaughter. And that is, if we hark back to the story of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, as our brother mentioned, here Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam wasn't told to slaughter a ram. Ibrahim alayhi salam was told to slaughter his son. Therefore, nobody was going to consume the meat of his son. You know, nobody was practicing cannibalism. That Ibrahim alayhi salam was not going to eat his son afterwards once he slaughtered it. The maqsad was, the purpose was, the aim was to say and express to Allah by actions rather than by words that, oh Allah, there is nothing on the surface of the earth that I would willingly give up for your love. My love for you, Allah, is unconditional. Everything is secondary in the world that I have, even something as valuable as a son, even something that I've waited for so many years, and then you've granted to me after so many years. If you were to command me, then I would slaughter that son of mine, which is exactly what he was going to do. However, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was only testing Ibrahim alayhi salam. He was not advocating the slaughtering of sons. That's not what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is about. It was more a case of to test the resolve of Ibrahim alayhi salam, to test his love for Allah. And then, as we know the story, we tell the young children that a ram was sent from the heavens and Ibrahim alayhi salam slaughters the ram. So that is the absolute principle of this, that we are Qurbani, we are sacrificing an animal to express our love and express our joy to Allah. What we're supposed to do, and I know it's very difficult in the UK, is we're supposed to take the animal a year before. Literally make it become our pet. This is the only kind of concept of pets that you hear within the Sunnah. Literally make that animal your pet. Name it. Befriend it. Everybody get to know it. And then slaughter it. So you have an emotional connection with this creature. In fact, this creature has now become part of your family. If there's 5 of you in the house, this sheep now has become the 6th member. If there's 4 of you in this house, this goat has now become the 5th member. You know it by name. The children go out to feed it. You go out to feed it. You talk to it. And then the day comes. And now you're going to go slaughter it. This is the love you're expressing to Allah. Because remember, Ibrahim Islam was told to slaughter his son, which is a family member. So now that has been replaced by the slaughtering of an animal. But this, in this country, is very difficult to do that, unless you live on a farm, I guess, you could do that. And that's the real purpose. The Prophet ﷺ would consume the slaughtered meat. Excuse me. So on Eid al-Fitr, we're supposed to eat before we go to the Eidgah. We're supposed to eat before we go for Eid Salah. But on Eid al-Adha, you don't eat before you go for Eid Salah. You eat when you come back. Now, in this day and age, it's a bit difficult, but back in the day, you could easily have prayed your Eid Salah, slaughtered an animal, and had it cooked within a couple hours. Now, you know, you got to go on a booking list, and they got to book you in, and then you got to go pick the animal up. You know, it could take hours. You don't even get the animal on the first day. You got to go pick it up on the second day, and then it's not really chopped up properly. You know, there's so much, and then by the time you get around to cooking it, it could be another few hours. You know, so we really struggle to act on the sunnah. That is the sunnah. The Prophet ﷺ would eat the slaughtered meat, and yes, he would share a third with family and friends, and a third for the poor. So I will explain to you my practice. One of the other reasons for slaughtering here in the UK is you educate your children. I remember as a young boy, I used to go with my father, and there used to be those yellow, I won't name the company, but yellow kind of ghee type dabbe, plastic tubs, which you used to cut into your hand. And I used to go with my father, and the local butcher would have the animal slaughtered, and we would bring it back. I would carry them, and they would literally rip in my arms from their sockets, because I was the eldest son, and my dad would have a couple, and I think, you know, we would make a trip across home. Mum would have then had prepared lots of bags on the floor, and she would now start to distribute the meat, and she would share it out so that not everybody got leg, or not everybody got, you know, shoulder, or not everybody got a bit of this or a bit of that, so it was nicely distributed. And then she would give me a bag and say, right, off you go to number 7 Hanover Square, off you go to number 8 Hanover Square, off you go to number 9, and we would go and distribute it out throughout the whole street. But what it did for me was it raised my awareness of the practical aspects of the deen. Okay, the practical aspects of the deen. Nowadays, you know, it's, right, where we're going to go for, Bangladesh, how much? 20 pound, send, that's it, done. No discussion with the child, the mother's not talking to the child, the father's not talking to the child, there's no education element, there's nothing going on. The concept of qurbani is gone, because 50 quid's note nowadays, isn't it? You know, spending 50 quid is a doddle. Yeah, qurbani was something you felt it. You remember the word qurbani, sacrifice, is something you feel. You know, if I sacrifice a bottle of water, that's not really a sacrifice. You know, come on. I give £1,000. Oh, I'm feeling that now. Oh yes, all day long. Okay? So therefore, if you can afford a bigger animal, a more expensive animal, don't be that way. You go on the list and say, okay, where is it the cheapest? £70, £50, £88, whatever. Oh, £16 in Burkina Faso. I heard it's really bad in Burkina Faso. No, it's not. It's really bad in your pocket, and that's why you're going for the £16. So my personal advice is, and this is what we do, is alhamdulillah, we did have 4 of us in the house that qurbani became wajib upon. So we would do 2 in this country, and we would do 2 in another country. Now there's 3 of us upon whom it is wajib. My daughter's married, may Allah bless her, and she's now moved out of the house, so she's doing it in her own house. Obviously in our house now, there is the 3 of us, because my youngest daughter is not earning. So myself, my wife, and my son, so we do qurbani. So we'll do 1 in this country, at least, if not 2. 2 will only be if we know that we can give the meat out, and then the other one we give abroad. Now the other question which comes up is, how do you determine poverty? Now poverty is subjective. I can look at a person, I can say, oh, that brother looks poor. Somebody else can say, actually, no, that's not poor. You know, I live on £10 a week. I think he's all right. What's he mourning at? You know, so it's subjective. So we leave the Sharia to decide what is poor. And the Sharia decides that anybody who's below nisab, which is what, 300 odd quid, is poor. And that's 300 odd quid once he's taken his bills out for the month. That person is poor. That means even if a person is living in a house, he's still poor. Yes, there's gradations of poverty, absolutely, I get that. And sometimes you want to target the poorest. There's nothing wrong with that. But if we were to look at the definition, then the Sharia defines it very objectively, because the Sharia is law. So it has to be objective. It casts aside emotions. It puts aside emotions. It is really focusing on the halals and the harams of it all. Then there are people in UK, in Bradford, you know, food banks don't exist because, you know, where there is a need, there is supply. Where there is a demand, there is supply. You know, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, there wasn't such a thing as a food bank. You know, people would laugh if you said, oh, you know, let's go to the food bank. Now, if you do go to the food bank, you'll see that there's lots of people queuing for food. And also you'll find that there's soup kitchens, and there are plenty of people who go use these soup kitchens in order to get a warm meal. Anyway, so that deals with those questions. We have a caller who's called in on 01274 214299. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear caller.
वालेकुम अस्सलाम व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातहू। कैसे हैं मुफ्ती साहब, ठीक है?
बस फर्स्ट क्लास बहन जी, आप कैसे हैं?
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, अल्लाह का एहसान है।
आमीन।
आप कुर्बानी की बात कर रहे हैं, तो मेरा सवाल ये है कि मेरे घर में 4 बेटे हैं, एक काम करता है, दूसरे 3 काम नहीं करते। बेटियां भी कोई खास काम नहीं करती, बालिग हैं, जवान हैं।
जी हाँ
तो उनकी कुर्बानी वैसे तो मैं हर साल करती हूँ
जी,
लेकिन मेरा क्वेश्चन है कि क्या मुझे करनी चाहिए कि नहीं करनी चाहिए, क्योंकि 6 बच्चे उनके लिए कुर्बानी करनी है, प्लस एक 7 शेर के दूसरी भी कुर्बानी है, ये 2 कुर्बानी हो जाएंगी माशाल्लाह
जी
तो
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह।
इसमें क्या आपकी क्या राय
ठीक
है?
है, चलो बहन जी, जज़ाकुमुल्लाह खैर। अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम, दुआ में याद रखना। अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
वालेकुम सलाम व रहमतुल्लाह। तो बहन जी ने सवाल किया कि उनके घर में बच्चे बेटियां भी हैं और ख़ुद उन भी है, और उनके लिए कुर्बानी कर रहा है हर साल, लेकिन बात यह कि उन पर फ़र्द है या नहीं, तो इसको देखना है कि उनका पास निसाब है या नहीं। निसाब है यानी वो वैल्यू जो जिसकी वजह से ज़कात देना पड़ेगा। तो अगर उनके पास निसाब है, अभी देखना पड़ेगा कि एग्जैक्ट वैल्यू क्या है, लेकिन 300 से थोड़ी से ज़्यादा है। तो अगर उनके पास निसाब है फिर वो कुर्बानी देना पड़ेगा उस पर। अगर उनके पास निसाब नहीं है तो फिर वाजिब नहीं है। अगर ख़ुद किसी को देना चाहता है, दिल चाहे कि भाई मैं कुर्बानी उनके लिए कर रहा हूँ, कर सकता है, लेकिन वाजिब फ़र्द नहीं है। दूसरी बात यह है कि अभी जो इस मुल्क में कोई कुर्बानी कर रहा है, तो एक जानवर को पता नहीं, ये अगर शीप या गोट तो 140-150 पाउंड है। तो अगर किसके पास 350 है और उनको एक 150 को ख़र्च किया कुर्बानी की वजह से, तो वो तो अभी निसाब से नीचे जाएगा। तो मैं उनको ऐसे मशवरा देता हूँ कि भाई अगर आप किसी और मुल्क में किया जिसमें थोड़ी से सस्ता आपको मिल जाएगा, इसलिए कि एक तो आप कुर्बानी का वाजिब मुकम्मल करेंगे, दूसरी बात यह कि आपके पास फिर भी पैसा बाकी है। मैं अभी दूसरी उलमाओं से बात भी कर रहा हूँ और मशवरा भी दे रहा है कि इस मुल्क में निसाब ये सोना पर होना चाहिए, चांदनी पर नहीं, इसलिए कि चांदी का बहुत सस्ता है, वेरी चीप। वो निसाब 310, 320, 330 है और सोना 3000 से ज़्यादा है। लेकिन इसकी जो जैसे आपने सवाल किया, मैंने उनको जवाब दिया आपको। Just give you 5-10 seconds translation. Our dear respected sister asked the question that she has a number of sons and a daughter in the house, and she does do Qurbani every year. However, there's only one son that's earning. Does she need to do for everybody? And I said, no, she need to check if they have nisab. Nisab for silver is about 300 odd quid. You can check that, and if they do, then yes, Qurbani becomes wajib upon them. If they don't have it, then Qurbani is not wajib. You can still do it, but it is not wajib. Jazakumullah khairan. We need to go. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.